Hello and welcome to this special edition of Hot Indonesia. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Now we are devoting this entire program to address the global health problem that's affecting just about everyone's life, the coronavirus. Here's our H-I Hotlist. Reality check. What is the coronavirus's prevalence and impact here in Indonesia? Action agenda. Where should we feel safe and what we should avoid? And personal protocol, protecting ourselves and our families. Now here are my co-hosts each and every week, Sandrina Malakiano, former TV news anchor and now a political marketing consultant, Santiago Uno, business executive and former vice governor of Jakarta. And joining us this day with expert health advice is Dr. Irene Arai, general practitioner of medicine here in Jakarta. Thank you for coming in, Doctor. Hot topic number one, reality check. The latest global numbers as of March 12th, 125,000 people infected with the respiratory illness, 4,600 dead, 68,000 recovered. The count is slowing in the source country China, but rising in other places such as the United States. Now here in Indonesia, as of March 12th, only 34 confirmed cases with 1 death, but that is surely expected to change. Now for the longest time, as we've discussed, we've had 0 cases here, which was difficult to believe, but kind of easy to understand. We just didn't have the testing expertise, the medical knowledge here, because it's a new thing. Now, Dr. Irene, let's start with you. How difficult a job do health experts now have in this country, and do we have all the tools we need at the moment?
Well, as we know, the way to detect corona is through PCR.
PCR is a test.
Yes, yeah. PCR testing. So basically, you mentioned previously about the cases that is, we haven't reported any cases while the world has already discussed about corona. The thing is, I think it has something to do with the level of preparedness in our country. You know, the preparedness to detect the virus, first actually to prevent, and then to detect on how to respond as well. So I think it is a collective system that should not be done only by healthcare provider, but also with the government.
I would also like to ask you the same thing.
Right.
Dalton just asked you, are we prepared? Because what I've read just recently,
right.
Even the US, they're now facing difficulties. They're running out of test kits.
Exactly.
Because
yes,
it comes from Germany.
Right.
Indonesia, with such a vast, huge number of population, do we have enough test kits?
I wouldn't dare to give a certain reply on that. But I think our government is doing whatever they can currently to provide.
Your fellow doctors, have you? Because I know that you've had a baby recently. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're not regularly practicing.
Right.
But maybe from your colleagues, do they get any?
I think it's safe to say there's not enough kids because we have so many in this population.
Are the doctors prepared?
Yeah, I would say that, I would say that, I mean, actually, I wouldn't specifically say we are prepared or we are not prepared, but we are not on that level of preparedness yet, For example, like South Korea, they are the first country that do a drive-through test. Basically, it's asymptomatic person, they test it as well. But while in Indonesia, they separate the case, basically.
It has to be a swab test, right?
Yeah, it's a swab test. Yeah, it's
Sandy was feeling a little under the weather this past week, right? And you had, actually, you had flu-like symptoms. I don't mean to alarm your friends or family, but were you worried a little bit, and what did you do?
I was worried, and I checked the symptoms. I don't have the fever, and I don't have breathing issues, so I traveled.
Shortness of breath.
So I traveled to Bandung, I traveled to Lampung, I took the plane.
Because every day you meet hundreds and sometimes thousands of people.
But now I'm getting more and more aware of the situations. I traveled to Singapore, I came back, and you just need to make sure that you start reducing some of this potential risk that you may have. And I think what she's referring to is the proactiveness of not only the government, but also the people in general. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a scheduled visit by the nearby Puskesmas, which is this medical center set up by the city of Jakarta near your precinct. And every precinct, we have 267 precincts all over Jakarta, have these medical centers. And now that the governor proactively ask the medical staff to actually meet some 4,000, 5,000 of the communities to get voluntary check. And if you have the symptoms, then you should go into the procedure. So I think the number will continue to change because if you look at when you're having a flu, it's very common.
And see, the question is there, how do you know? I mean, maybe you could give us some insights. What's the difference? I mean, I just recovered from a flu.
Right.
Sandy also was under the weather, and he's recovering, but we don't even know, oh, is this a common flu? Because all the symptoms
You're
are the
right.
same.
Yes.
Would you
you're right.
recommend him to take a coronavirus test if you were his
Should
doctor?
we?
So basically, currently our government is spreading the news that if you have fever, if you have dry cough, it's something that you differentiate between viral infection and bacterial infection. So I mentioned fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath. And you know that within 14 days of period of time you travel.
Incubate.
Yeah. No, you travel to certain countries that already, being established with coronavirus and being detected with coronavirus, you should go and have yourself tested.
But then you have to go to a specific hospital for that, right? Not any hospital, not an ER, maybe.
There's
somewhere.
a list of
yes,
hospitals
there's a
of the
list of
government.
hospitals and telephone number, call center that you can call to. So you can actually call them and tell what are the symptoms and why are you worried,
Now, several public events already have been canceled here. We've talked about this in the past, music events, business seminars canceled. But you know what? I haven't seen the kind of reaction here in Indonesia as in other countries, where they're shutting borders, prohibiting people from walking 6 feet next to each other, like in Italy. Why hasn't the reaction been as strong here in Indonesia? I do not get it.
I guess because the government has been able to be, quite very, very. They're very, very firm in saying that we are strong, and
Right or wrong.
And I have the latest survey that 2/3 of the Indonesian people, at least this survey showing us, said that they trust the government in handling the coronavirus situations. So they're listening to the government, and when the government is not telling them not to do certain things, they follow. So we are a society that basically, when the government sends strong signals that we are okay, then we're not practicing that level of.
But that's public reaction. I'm talking about government preparedness. I mean,
that's another question. I think maybe we'll talk about it in the next segment.
Yeah, we have to take a break right now. Hot Indo will continue shortly, and we'll be back with more with Action Agenda. Should you cancel your trip to the States? You are watching a special edition of Hot Indonesia with Sandrina, Sandy, Dr. Irene, and me. We are discussing the global attention on the coronavirus and, of course, here in Indonesia now. Should everyone be avoiding public spaces? I mean, that's the ultimate answer to not catching anything, but that's not very realistic or productive.
Right.
Well, schools have, my son's school just canceled their classes for at least the next 2 weeks. To assess the situations, and
Because
kids are more susceptible and older people as well, Doc?
Than older people, actually.
Kids are more susceptible.
So older people are more on higher risk.
Oh, okay.
It's actually no, it's the same for
Older
all.
and
It's
kids.
just like the flu. Anybody could catch it. Actually, it depends on your immune
Immune
system.
system, right.
So. Like also, your child's school has been closed down. My daughter's school closed down for 5 days only for general cleaning.
Right.
But they're back in school now for the tests. So it all depends. You can stay home, you can still go to school, but it depends on what you do on a day-to-day basis, right?
Right, but you know what I find that the world is talking about coronavirus is because asymptomatic people could also, infect others. So that is why we should avoid public masses,
Yeah, like
public
Dr. Ari,
gatherings.
you said if you have fever, but in the early stages, the fever isn't there yet.
Exactly. That is
See?
why currently so many public agenda being canceled. Like in the U.S., Johns Hopkins University has canceled their class for the next coming months. My
Yeah.
sister.
Everybody
is there.
going online.
Yes. Everybody going
NBA,
online.
dear to Sandy
Yeah.
Maynard, that's
Oh, no.
suspended. I mean, that is
Yeah.
The
bad.
season is cancelled.
Yeah,
but
well,
you know
suspended. I think
Yeah.
they'll resume it later, maybe without
You know
fans.
what,
on the
Dalton?
ice.
It also, Sandy, let me share just a short story because it relates to our very friendly culture in Indonesia. I was recently in an event and I met a lot of people, a lot of seniors, and then I wanted to just, okay, let's not shake hands, let's not hug and kiss cheeks. They wouldn't let me.
Yeah,
They wouldn't let me. They would just, it's okay. Then it is. So
Yeah, that's
sometimes
good and not good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, people
What you
staying
should
at home.
do.
Yeah, people staying at home. I get, to avoid contact. But should we get concerned for people like Sandy and myself, and even Sandrina, who travels to Bali a lot? Should we be concerned about flying on an airplane, for example?
that's a good question.
We have to go places.
It's a very good question. Let me point out the most obvious thing here. Bang Sandi brought a mask.
This is the standard
N95 mask.
95.
Yeah.
So he's already taking a right measurement to self-protect and to not spread the diseases as well. So that is one. And two, this is something that I almost never see the media speak about, is the coughing etiquette. A lot of people cough like this, But for example, like in China, you can go to malls and places, there are, many stickers that they stick on the walls on the coughing etiquette is that you use your elbow. Because when you cough like this, the droplets in your hands and then you shake hands,
But this is, with your hand, better than nothing. I hate people who just sneeze and cough without it. And you see that still.
That is why I said the coughing etiquettes and the media should be proactively teaching people to limit the disease to themselves and to not spread it. For example, you cough like this.
Dr. Arin,
Right.
is this okay? This is a very high standard mask, but they say that the virus
It's so small.
It's big, quite big. Any mask would also still be able to help contain because.
No.
It's not airborne, is it right? Because they say it's grounded, it's not airborne. Even if it's transmitted through the air, it's through the droplets.
Right.
The virus is not airborne.
So-
is it true?
So there are some recent papers that talk about the airborne. So there are many uncertainties about this COVID-19. So there's a recent papers that talk about it might go airborne. And then the mask, the virus itself is actually very small. So even if some people who are healthy and trying to protect themselves with the mask, there are some literature that says that it's actually unuseful. What the mask should be used is by the people who are sick or think that they're sick,
Right.
or immune suppressed people, like they're taking antiviral, corticosteroids, and then
I think
for
masks
medical
sometimes-
provider.
Yeah, they provide sometimes a false sense of security if you just wear a mask and you think that's all you need to do, right?
Right.
But when I wear the mask, it helps
Yes.
because people sort of like staying away from you.
Yes.
I went to one
Yeah.
gathering and I wear a mask and people start, don't want to do.
They love you, but they don't wanna get near you.
Kiss your cheeks, They were, okay. So it helped
Yeah.
when you just wear the mask and you said that I'm having a cold, but. I want to, there's a lot of confusions, but I want to make sure that Hot Indonesia will not add further confusions, but also highlight some of the issues that people do recover from the
True.
COVID-19.
Yeah.
More than half.
And
More than
what
half.
do you do to get recovered, and how to make sure that people don't go into a panic?
Right.
And this. I guess how do we handle elderly, the
True.
older people? How to make sure that they They don't go
Keep
because
them at home. Keep them at home,
yeah.
basically.
You're
I
right.
have a father-in-law who's 81, and now he's coughing, and he's being brought to the hospital. And the hospital said, "Okay, we'll put him in an ICU." I was worried. I thought that, well, you're not sure what he's having, but bringing him to the hospital actually expose him to more dangers. So what are the protocols? I think we need to make sure that the people have confidence. And we had pandemics before. The last one was
True.
the H1N1
Bird flu.
virus, bird flu.
Yeah.
And we sort of see how the confidence of the government really helps make the country recover, both on the economic and the social
So Sandy,
aspects.
let me ask you directly. You would still fly, but just take precautions, right?
I would still fly, but
And I would still
for your
fly.
information,
Yeah.
I just canceled a few events in Central Java, as well as my trips to Malaysia has been canceled. My Japan trip has also been canceled.
Because of that side or this side?
That side.
Okay.
So it's being canceled anyway. My
But you would
foreign
still, you feel
engagements.
comfortable enough to fly,
I
right?
would,
Okay.
but I would take
You know
precautions.
what? I think it would be good if the government would give some explanation based on facts and theory.
I think Jokowi has come out.
Yeah,
The president
like,
has made
like
statements.
for people who use public transportation with
very
transportation that has central air systems like
Yes.
air condition, is it safe? What to do? What not to do? I think that would give a sense of
Well,
security.
we have a lot
and-
more work to do, and
yeah.
we have a lot more hot Indo ahead. Coming up, personal protocol. We will show you the right and wrong way to wash your hands. You are watching a Hot Indonesia special on the coronavirus from Jakarta. Now, let's put this all in perspective to wrap it up. Now, if everyone practiced normal hygienic practices, the problem would not be anywhere as big. Is that fair to say, Doc?
Yeah, we could. And also, avoid kissing in public, hugging.
We love hugging.
That'll be tough, especially
that's
for
part of our
a
culture.
politician, too. That's pretty hard not
Teletubbies
to
hug.
kiss babies,
The politicians love Teletubbies hug.
Okay, but because not everyone is doing it right, with your instructions, Doc, show us, demonstrate how to properly wash your hands, because this is the first line of defense.
Right.
Personal hygiene, your hands. So
Right.
what would you tell us to do now first?
Oh, well, before I do it, I want to see how do you wash your hand after you came out from toilet
Okay,
or washroom.
so a normal way we all wash our hands. Okay, guys, just pour the ink on your hands.
Okay.
We're wearing gloves because it shows the ink will show.
I would go like this.
Oh, Jesus.
I go like this, and then I cover the.
Oh, he's doing it the right
thumb.
way.
Yeah, and then I make sure this, and then I go like this.
Okay.
Don't forget this.
Okay,
And
this
then
is what usually people do. So
Right.
just this part, and then a bit here.
Right.
But now we
And
know
then
that
I-
we've seen a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I just
After this-
usually do this.
Okay,
Boom.
shows all your hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, why are we wearing gloves? Is so that we know the part that is being untouched by the soap or
Yeah.
unwashed.
Okay.
See, basically, you wash all the proximals of your hands and the palms.
So Sandy's good.
Sand is
Sand is
good.
good, so
Yeah,
you
but
have to
my
go-
trouble is at the end of the wash, I go like this,
And
then
you-
And then you turn off the
Rub
tap.
it.
Not only I turn off the faucet.
You wipe it on your
but
jeans.
I sometimes
Air dry or?
no,
You
there's
wipe it
an
on
air
your
dry.
jeans.
If there's an air dry, no, there's some like towel being hang there,
Oh.
and then I just use
Yes.
the towel.
But the paper towels are clean, right? In the public restrooms.
See, that's a very good point.
But I,
no.
I don't go to places high class places like.
Come on, they have paper
you
towels
go to
at everyone.
hotels. I go to like people.
Oh, I see what you mean,
So
yeah.
there are basically towels hanging.
So what do
there,
you do?
But you
What
have
do you do?
antiseptics,
I-
right?
they don't. So I just then
Air dry it like this.
sort of like air dry it
Okay.
and then touch the towel.
So I did it wrong.
Yep.
Because-
Basically, you see, there's so many
white
part of
things.
the
I'm just demonstrating what I used to do now. I don't want
Exactly,
my
which
friends
is- which
or
is very good.
family to think. So now you're saying go all over.
It's a mistake
So,
part.
according to WHO, you have to wash your hand more or less 40 to 60 seconds.
46. I read 20, but it's even.
CDC says 20 seconds
Yeah.
with running water. So basically, what you do, like this, right?
Right.
And then you could sing your favorite song during the time. And then you
Garuda,
go
di-da-da.
through your fingers like this.
Yep.
See, when I do this, the tip of my finger is being in touch.
Right.
Yeah.
You see? And then after you could go like this.
I love
Yeah.
this.
Under the nails. Usually,
Under the nails.
yes. Like this.
And then go
Yeah.
like this.
If everybody
And
did
then-
this, we'd be okay. Yeah, if, at least maybe
Yeah.
25% better. I
Yes,
would
the chances
guess.
of, the people that is
Now,
coughing.
fortunately, with the social
Then-
media, we've seen it going around,
Yeah.
right?
Your thumb.
Doctors and public figures teaching you how to wash your hands properly.
Because you always use your thumb.
Yes.
Okay, we got the point, Doc, that people are not washing enough and
Yes,
long
right.
enough. Now, let me ask to wrap this up. Now, if we traveled abroad or traveled anywhere and we felt sick, should we do and who should we call?
Well, I think in advance, before we travel to a certain countries, we should know the call center to that countries, the emergencies number, emergency contact. And you just mentioned a very important line there. We should have an emergency contact person all the time. And also in your houses, prepared a room that you can isolate yourself from the healthy people if you are actually sick or showing some symptoms.
And that's normal advice if anyone is sick in your family. You don't
What-
want to get sick from them. Right?
I saw in social media, like Denpasar already has 112. I think in Jakarta it's also the same,
Yeah.
112, right?
Right.
And we have also heard that the governor said if you are sick, just
Stay
call and they will come
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
pick you up with the proper vehicle and
Do
and
we
the
have a
official-
number to call in Indonesia?
Yes,
One,
yes,
one,
we
two.
do.
112.
112.
So everyone watching, if you have a problem or feeling...
I'm not sure if it's already national
But
because
in
it
Jakarta,
depends.
you-
Jakarta,
Jakarta
in
112.
Bali,
Yeah, yeah.
it's 112.
Check
I'm
with
not
your
really sure.
doctor
Yeah.
in your city throughout Indonesia for where
Yes.
to contact. Okay, now last point. With health fears come misinformation, right? And social media enables everyone, unfortunately, to be a mini CNN. And that's a problem. Now, it doesn't help to spread news that isn't confirmed, right? So that's
Yes.
Right.
that's part of the problem. So
That's very
that's
important.
people like us.
So
we have an
don't
obligation.
panic.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't panic.
Don't
Don't
panic.
share if it's not validated.
Exactly.
True.
Okay, now we could talk a lot more, but we got to end it here. First, now feedback time, and we really want to hear from you on what you thought about what we talked about, some comments you have. Here are some comments from past programs. Shepi posted this on our Indonesia Channel Instagram page. Amazing program. Big dreams deserve to be owned by everyone. Yes, keep going for your dreams, Shepi. We're behind you. And this text came in from Charles in Jakarta following our segment on Indonesia's new trade designation. I would say that Indonesia will become a developed nation within 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
That's a fair projection. Charles, thank you for watching. Here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final words time with Sandrina.
Okay, I'm sure you've heard this before. Just a kind reminder that a gadget that we always bring with us is our mobile phone. And we put it everywhere on the table and we just don't think about it. We use it on our face and actually lots of germs, especially now from the surfaces of tables. Please beware after you use your gadget, do not use your hands to eat. So wash your hands first and if possible, regularly disinfect your gadgets.
Okay,
Stay
final
healthy.
words. Sandy.
A lot of families complain that they don't have hand sanitizers. Last weekend, I went to a small medium enterprise in Banten. They come up with their own version of hand sanitizers, which use some of the leaves, and these leaves called pinahong. Difficult times make people very creative and innovative, and hey, the SMEs is always supportive. Our economy is going to be tough, but the SMEs, once again, will make sure they come up with their own solutions.
All right, final words, Dr. Irene.
Yeah, I think we showed how we wash our hands just now. So right now, I think we should avoid handshaking in public currently or hugging. And talking about hand sanitizer, because it's relatively difficult to find. You can make your own with home bleaching. There are ways to use it, but you have to add it with some water to make it not so strong. That could also work to spray it around on your door knob or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, and my final words now to my family and friends, you know, I never sneeze or cough without covering my mouth, and I already fist bump instead of shaking hands whenever I feel sick. And I promise you, if I feel sick, I will take preventive measures. So please don't worry about that. But I will continue to live life as much as I can, as I usually do, and I hope that you will too. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. Thank you very much for watching this special discussion on the coronavirus for Sanjina Malakiano, Santiago Uno, Dr. Irene Aray. Thank you very much for watching, and please join us again next time.